Welcome to another Founder Wisdom Pod with Rahul Bhatia with us today. He's co-founder at Ghostit. This podcast brought to you by podbuyer.com. That's my podcasting agency. If you want to start, scale, be invited to podcasts like this one. Monetize podcasting is my game. Monetizing podcasting, should I say. And if you need help with that to scale your pod, you can hit me up at podbuyer.com or you can go on LinkedIn, press Charles Cormier or type Charles Cormier, that is. Raul, welcome to the pod. Tell me a bit more about yourself and Ghostit.
My name is Rahul Bhatia. I live in Victoria, British Columbia, born in Edmonton, Alberta. So, go Oilers. I have a company called Ghostit. We are a B2B content marketing agency. We've been around for about 7 years. We started out as just a complete social media spam company. Learned a lot of lessons along the way, and now we are a full end-to-end digital content marketing agency.
Or LinkedIn or
no, all social platforms, and not just social though. Email newsletters, blog, website copy, ebooks, and the list goes on. Yeah.
And why that agency specifically? What's your thesis? What's your long-term plan with it?
Well, I'll tell you how Ghostit was kind of born. Ghostit was kind of born out of a very selfish need. I've been in and out of various industries and businesses, from hospitality to e-commerce to consulting and so forth. And I noticed a hole in the market at the time between hiring freelancers and hiring large scale marketing agencies. And so I said, there has to be some sort of happy medium, a mid-market solution, if you will. And so we kind of created Ghostit out of the things I hated about working with freelancers and working with large agencies. And so the company has really evolved based on avoiding the things I hated in the other companies and industries that I've worked in. And so
what did you hated? Like
I'll tell
why
you
the hate?
So often this entire industry is very time consuming, very expensive to hire in, right? Whether it's an agency or it's a freelancer. And there are so many companies that are hiring out because they don't want to have to manage the process. They don't want to be bombarded with questions every single day. That takes up a lot of their time, takes up their resources. Sometimes they just want almost a plug and play solution, right? That's a bit like a piece of software just running, but it's powered by people. And so that's what Ghostit's solution is we are run by people, but we give as automated of a solution as the client wants it to be. So it's as hands-on or as hands-off as our clients want it. And we found a lot of success in doing that. So we have some clients that we haven't spoken to in a year or two. One of the clients we have, actually, he often says to me if I try to reach out to him, because even if they're not contacting us, I like to try to stay in touch with all of our clients. And one of the clients, he actually says to me, he goes, Rahul, this is a doctor relationship. No news is good news. So let's just leave it as the way things are running. Things are going great. My business is growing, and obviously partially thanks to you guys. So just, we don't need to chat if we don't need to chat. Okay, sounds good.
And how do you use AI to create some of that content?
So AI is interesting, obviously whenever there's that breakthrough technology in any sector around the world, we end up with two camps. We end up with the camp that goes, oh my God, my business is dead. I'm done, I'm finished. Then there's the other camp that just says, how do I utilize this to move faster, to grow, to scale what I'm doing? And take something like ChatGPT. It's incredible. A lot of writers can say, oh yeah, it's going to write for me. So why would I need to write anymore? But if you can take something like ChatGPT or any various AI tool, even on the images side, if you're using DALL-E or Midjourney or any of the other ones, you take these things and you figure out, okay, into the processes that I run every single day, into my workflows, how do I use this to move faster? So we use something like ChatGPT, for example. We use it to prevent writer's block. We use it to expand on things that need to be expanded on. Sometimes it's used to just get a piece of content started. It makes it, and then sometimes it's used to scale content, right? So we have to write a blog post, and then we need to write multiple variations of a similar blog post to repurpose it. One of our writers will write the blog post. We'll use something like ChatGPT to write different variations of it, or take snippets of it, create social posts from it. And then we have a person actually go through everything, make sure that it's fully matching the client's brand and client personality, And yeah, so that's how we use it.
And you said when you started the interview that you did spam back in the days. What
Yeah.
was your
Yeah.
definition of
Okay.
spam?
So I'll tell you, it was a friend of mine. Him and I, we started this company 7 years ago, and it was based on the idea that businesses have Facebook pages and they don't use them, and just shoving content in a Facebook page is better than having zero content in your Facebook page. I had a restaurant at the time, and so my friend said to me, "Hey, let's look at your restaurant's Facebook page. Do you have one?" I said, "Yeah." So I opened it, and the last post was from like a year and a half or 2 years previous. So for some random individual showing up at this Facebook page without looking at anything else, Googling, calling, anything else, they would probably assume that the restaurant's closed. So we said, even if I wrote something random on the page, something about the type of food we serve, something about the community, just random content, regularly, at least the page looks active. And so what we did, we started going to local businesses and we said, hey, if we just produced filler content, so not based on really any strategy or anything, just filler content to show activity on your social media pages, would you pay for it? And we got a lot of clients quickly, and then we lost a lot of clients. And the reason we got a lot of clients is we weren't charging much, charging about $100 a month. And so the selling proposition was there. It was, let's keep your social active so that you look open, right? And you look relevant. But over time, none of this was really based on any strategy. There was no long-term thinking here. And so, after a little while, even myself, I would have given up on the service. And so we started to lose clients. And that's kind of when we started to realize, you know what? First of all, everyone's a social media marketer. Two, if there's no proper long-term strategy here, we're not really going to be aligned to any specific goals, and we're kind of just floundering at that point. So instead of just social content, let's go across social, blogs, email newsletters. These are three basic pillars of your online presence of any basic content marketing strategy. And let's create a cohesive strategy based on your industry, based on what your competitors are doing, based on what works and doesn't work for you, based on what your customers or clients are looking for. And through all of that, we became this content marketing agency rather than just spammy filler social media content agency.
Right. And you charge 750 per package. Like, how much clients do you run on nowadays?
So that's our starting retainer. Our retainers start at that, and then the sky is obviously the limit. But right now we are sitting around the 50 client mark. Yeah, right around there.
It's pretty good. So 35K MRR. What are your objectives for 2024?
I mean, objectives for 2024 is to grow it to, I want to double in size in 2024, get to about 100 clients. That would be the objective in terms of number of clients. And then kind of expand into different territories. So the retainer that you mentioned, that's the current side of Ghostit. We operate in the SMB side, 5 to 50 staff, health and wellness, tech, investments, accounting, finance. These are big industries for us. The other side of Ghostit that's kind of evolved over the last year and a half is the enterprise side. But it's not a full-scale marketing agency for enterprise. It's something called employee advocacy. So we're an employee advocacy agency on the enterprise side. And we kind of fell into that through one of our clients who happened to just ask us one day, hey, can you take over our employee advocacy program? So of course I said, yes, we can do that, but what the hell is that? Right? I had no idea. And he said to me, we have someone here that takes all of the marketing content you write for us, chops it up, puts it into this content library. They were using a platform called Octopost. And then we have actual employee advocates. So individual employees that want to be advocates of our business, they go in, grab the content, and use it to build their personal brands, to make themselves look more credible. And when they do that, it obviously builds the company's credibility, right? So employee advocacy programs are where you have actual individual employees be advocates of your company, right? And so we started a whole new side of Ghostit, that is all about employee advocacy, and that's grown. So that's been really exciting, because I think we've really entered an era where the personal branding is so important, where the voice of an individual is louder than the voice of the corporation, of the brand. And so brands are realizing, they're waking up to this. They're realizing that it's in their best interest to invest in the personal brands of their employees, from the intern all the way up to exec, right? And everything in the middle. And so that's what employee advocacy programs are all about. And that's a huge passion of mine. Even if you go to my personal LinkedIn, you'll see I pump out employee advocacy content all the time. I'm a huge advocate of employee advocacy.
And how much employees do you currently have, and what is your plan to grow that force in 24?
So our team size is 10 right now. And I don't know in terms of number of employees I want to get to. I just know that I never want to leave a client high and dry. And so we will build the company the way it needs to be built internally to ensure that every client is always serviced the way they need to be serviced.
Right. And what challenges have you faced in the meanwhile when you started that agency?
Well, competition for sure. I mean, challenges really are the fact that we compete with anyone and everyone. It could be an individual off Craigslist charging $10 an hour, just trying to make a little bit of side hustle money. It could be a huge marketing agency that has offices in multiple cities and contacts everywhere. There's a huge variety of types of individuals and companies that we compete with. And so we just have to keep standing behind our work and making sure that our clients continue to vouch for us and do a good job of marketing what we do, producing great content, generating inbound, all of that stuff. Yeah.
What's the ROI behind making great content? Pretty sure the clients ask you that. So how do you respond to that?
I mean, it varies. Obviously, it varies. I mean, tying actual revenue dollars back to content is an age-old discussion that people have had time and time again, and everyone has different opinions on it, of course. I think ultimately coming down to producing some sort of a model where we show conversions on the website and traffic increases, and then breaking those conversions down to actual dollars. That's probably the best way that we sit down with a client and figure out, okay, if we produce content, we're hoping to spike your traffic by X amount. When we spike your traffic by X amount, based on a certain percentage of conversions, we're hoping to see, X number of dollar increase in your revenue. And as long as that's greater than what you spend with us, I think we're in good shape. But producing an actual ROI figure obviously is different for different size companies, depending on what they sell and what their purpose is. Yeah.
Right. And okay, as an entrepreneur, what's your daily routine like to make sure that you're always productive?
I wake up at 5 a.m. I kind of just clear my head, drink some water. I work out from 5:15 to 5:45. After 5:45, I take a shower, I get ready. I have a morning tea every day. My tea is very important to me. If I miss my morning tea, everyone around me knows it. Around 6:30, 7 o'clock, my son wakes up. My wife is getting ready for work. I hang out with my son. I help get him ready. Him and I just hang out one-on-one time from 7:30 to 8:30 every morning, which is an amazing way for me to start my day. And then 8:30, I drop him at his daycare. I'm at the office for 9 o'clock. And I have so much momentum by that point because I've had great bonding time with my son. I've had a killer workout. I've had a little bit of time to put together a nice to-do list for the day and review my priorities that I'd set the day before. I have a pretty good game plan for what I want to accomplish that day. Get to my office by 9, and then boom, I hit the ground running. And I work until basically my mind won't let me work anymore. And there we go.
So that's like 9, 10 p.m. Generally.
Yeah. And we have clients in so many different time zones. So even in the evenings during home time, I'm home at dinner, hanging out with my kid, my wife, and just family time. And And then when they go to bed, then I grind out a little bit of more work for clients in other
There you
time
go.
zones. Yeah.
That's a trick. What have you seen work very well in content? What are tips that you have for us?
Being authentic. Obviously, people say it a lot, but being authentic and going back to now AI. There's so much AI generated content out there, but we can't remove the human element, right? The human element is going to help content remain authentic, and so you got to be authentic. You also have to focus on your audience, not on you. So businesses all too often are focused on stakeholders. Agencies, this goes back to my other issue with agencies, and predominantly they go to the client, they go to the stakeholder, and they say, what do you want to see in your social? What do you want to see in your blog? What do you want us to put in the email newsletter? And when we're focused on the stakeholder, not on the audience, we are getting it completely backwards. We got to be focused on the people that are pumping money into the businesses, right? The customers, the clients. That's where our revenue comes from. If we are not producing great content that resonates with our audience, with our target audience, potential clients, potential customers, then we're doing it wrong. And so that's another huge mistake, is focusing on the stakeholder, not the audience. So I would say my greatest pieces of advice here are: be authentic. That works really well. Be true to yourself, because if you're not being authentic, that means you're portraying yourself in a manner that when a client or customer comes to you, they don't get that experience that they saw or that they thought they would get. And then, focusing on content that resonates with them versus you. That's what's really important. That's what works.
What about your entrepreneurial community there in Victoria? What does it look like?
Victoria is very popping with entrepreneurs, and there's lots of great networks, founders associations, business networks, various chambers of commerces. And so I like to go to different networking events when I can and meet new interesting people. And I'm a big fan of meeting people over LinkedIn, and getting on a video call with them if they don't live here. But if they do live here, I'm a huge fan of face-to-face. Huge fan of face-to-face. So I go on LinkedIn, I Google random local businesses that I think are doing cool things, and then I call up the owners, the founders, or whoever I can over there that's working on really, really dope shit, and we go grab a coffee. I'm a big fan of that. And there's lots of innovation happening in this city.
What do you like about conversations and podcasting most specifically?
Learning. I love insight into the way other people think. I absolutely love that. I love learning about what other people are doing. It doesn't matter how innovative of a person you are. It doesn't matter how much you read, how many YouTube videos you watch, or how many podcasts you listen to. When you're actually meeting people and chatting with them, then you get to actually learn about how their mind works. And I think that's the best way to develop your own mind.
Do you like what are the advantages of humor as well in life and in content?
Humor makes you seem real, makes you seem not robotic. There's a time and place, obviously. There's a time and place to be funny and be sarcastic and be cheeky, but I'm a huge fan of humor. I don't take things too seriously, and I think it helps people relate to each other. It helps people be more comfortable in speaking with each other. Not everything has to be so robotic and serious all the time.
There you go. Where can people find out more about you, Ro?
They can go to my LinkedIn and see all about me. Just look me up on LinkedIn, Rahul Bhatia. You'll find me. And that's the best place.
Who's your favorite superhero, by the way?
I don't know. It's a bit of a mystery. But no,
The
it's
Dark
Batman.
Knight. I need to watch that movie again. Not the bullshit ones. The
No.
Dark Knight,
The
like
Dark
that was
Knight.
made in 2008, I believe.
Yeah.
With the original Joker, the real one, the one that died. Did he suicide himself? That guy
Yeah.
killed
Why so
himself.
curious? Yeah. No, but obviously, yeah. Dark Knight, incredible. I'm a huge Batman fan. The mirror, the mugs. I have like a 6 foot tall Batman kind of just facing me while I work. A buddy of
Do
mine
you
bought
like
that for me.
box with him a little
No,
bit?
no, it's a cardboard cutout from a movie theater. But
All right.
a friend of mine took it from a theater and brought it to my office.
I was Raul Bhatia and Charles Cormier for another CEO Wisdom Podcast.com.